Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Mr. President, this week the Senate will be taking up the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2026. For the 65th consecutive year, the NDAA is the product of a bipartisan process in both chambers. This bill reflects the input, expertise, and tireless efforts of many of our colleagues. And I'm especially grateful for the work of our colleagues on the Armed Services Committee and for the leadership of Chairman Wicker on this year's bill. Mr. President, this annual defense bill is critical to ensuring the United States military is prepared for any threat that we face, and not just the threats that may come in the next year. It's about putting us on a path that will ensure our military can deter and, if necessary, defeat any threat that may arise in the future. Unfortunately, this long view has not always prevailed, and we continue to see the consequences of underinvestment in our military. In the last few years, we've had repeated reminders that the world remains a dangerous place, that there are evil people in the world bent on aggression, and that there are those who wish America and our allies harm. Sadly, that was clear this weekend. My prayers today are with the families of the 3 Americans, 2 soldiers and an interpreter, who were killed in Syria on Saturday in an apparent ISIS attack. Mr. President, the surest way of securing peace and keeping it is through strength. And it's a long-held tenet of American national security, and it's a view that the American people widely share. Republicans have made it a priority to restore peace through strength, and we know we have no time to waste. And that's why we made a generational investment in our armed forces in the One Big Beautiful Bill this summer. And the NDAA before us this week builds upon that important work. It aims to grow our Navy fleet to deliver more ships capable of deploying American power anywhere in the world and help narrow the gap between China's shipbuilding and our own. It supports the construction of the Golden Dome missile defense system to keep our country safe from missile, drone, or other airborne attacks. It proposes to ramp up munitions production and to ensure that we have sufficient munitions for whatever may come our way, with the added benefit of helping to revitalize the industrial base and support industries in South Dakota and across the country. And then there's our air power. The National Defense Authorization Act supports delivery of next-generation aircraft. That includes the B-21 Raider, the 6th-generation stealth bomber that will soon be making its home at South Dakota's Ellsworth Air Force Base. I'm proud that this bill fully authorizes the B-21 program and procurement of these aircraft, which will be the backbone of our future bomber force, as well as the military construction efforts underway at Ellsworth to support the new mission. Mr. President, investing in weapons and technology is important, but strengthening our military also means supporting the men and women who wear the uniform. And this bill has their back. For one, it authorizes the first increase in active duty end strength in several years. And it will help ensure that we can sustain the record recruitment levels that we've seen this year. It also supports critical investments in service member quality of life. That includes a 3.8% pay raise for our troops. It includes investments in on-base housing, education opportunities, child care, and other support for military members and their families. Mr. President, this bill will help rebuild our military. But what makes this year's National Defense Authorization Act exceptional is not how it rebuilds, but how it reforms. Thanks to Chairman Wicker's leadership, this NDAA will make the most significant reforms to the way the Pentagon does business in a generation. It takes dozens of burdensome rules and laws off the books, streamlines the buying and innovation processes. It ensures more American businesses will be able to contribute to America's arsenal, including small businesses and startups. This bill will harness the full strength of American innovation to get America's men and women in uniform the very best capabilities that our country has to offer. And not just to get it to them, but get it to them faster and at a lower cost to the taxpayer. Mr. President, these reforms will make our military stronger, more agile, and more ready for whatever the mission may be. And that needs to be our mission here, to do whatever it takes to support American soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Guardians. We ask a lot of the brave Americans serving in uniform, and they give a lot. And I'm proud that this year's National Defense Authorization Act will help ensure that they have what they need to keep America safe in a dangerous world. Mr. President, I yield the floor, and I suggest the absence of a quorum.
Clerk will call the roll.